Airlines are saying no to letting people on planes, and most people flying never expected it to happen. From new ID rules to surprise paper checks, even being a little mean could get you stuck on the ground before you go to the airport. Watch this. These 20 rules could be what decides if you get on the plane or get left behind. 20 reasons why you will be told no at airports in 2025 oversized carry-on luggage. First, bags that are too big. It used to be that the people at the gate might let you go if your bag was a little too full. Not anymore. In 2025, airlines are checking bag sizes like soldiers checking weapons. They're using those metal frames to check bags more often. And if your bag doesn't fit just right, the gate workers can make you check it or not fly. Some people won't check their bags because they have breakable stuff, computers, or even medicine, but saying no, especially at the last minute, can mean you don't get on the plane. One famous violin player almost couldn't get on a flight. Unless she put away her super expensive 200-year-old violin, she didn't, and she missed the flight. The lesson: know how big your airline lets bags be if your bag is even close to being too big. Don't take the chance and never fight at the gate. It won't work out for you. Third, you said no to face scanning. You decline facial recognition. Face scanning computers are showing up at more airports around the world. They're fast, safe, and depending on who you ask, a little scary at some airports, especially for flights to other countries. It's now normal for getting on planes saying no either because you don't like it or it makes you uncomfortable, could slow you down or even stop you from flying. In situations where you can't say no, especially for people who aren't citizens, you might be told no for boarding. Even when saying no is technically okay, doing things by hand can cause delays that make you miss your flight. Bottom line, face scanning is here to stay. And for now, saying no comes with problems. Your booking had a hidden glitch. Fourth, your booking had a secret problem. You found an amazing cheap ticket online. The booking worked and your email saying it worked came. So you're all good, right? Not always. Behind the scenes, booking mistakes can happen. Credit cards that don't work right, information that doesn't move right between websites and airlines, or confusion from booking two one-way flights on different airlines can all cause trouble. You might show up only to find your reservation was never really done, or worse, was canceled without telling you. To avoid this, always check your booking directly with the airline at least 48 hours before you leave, and take pictures of your confirmation details, just in case. 5. Ended up on a no-fly list. Ended up on a no-fly list. This is the scary situation. Everything looks fine until a gate worker quietly takes you aside and tells you that you're not allowed on the plane. No reason given, no quick fix. You're stuck in 2025 things where travelers are wrongly flagged by security computers or put on no-fly lists because of name mix-ups, computer problems, or past. Often small incidents are happening more. One traveler was banned from flying because her name was the same as someone flagged in a different country. Another missed her sister's wedding because of a computer mistake that took weeks to fix. To protect yourself, don't make jokes about security. Avoid any fights while flying. And if you've had problems before, call your airline ahead of time to check your status. The gate is not the place to find out about this kind of problem. No real ID, no flight. 6. No real ID, no flight starting in 2025. The TSA is fully using the Real ID Act, and that means your old driver's license might not get you through airport security anymore, even for flights inside the country. If your ID doesn't have that little star in the corner, it doesn't work. And without a real ID or something else that works like a passport, you won't be allowed on the plane. This change has surprised many travelers, especially those who haven't flown recently. Just because you made it through security before doesn't mean you still can. The rules have officially changed and they're being strict about it. If you're not sure if your ID works, check your state's DMV website or the DHS Real ID tool. If yours doesn't work, Either upgrade your ID or plan to bring your passport for flights inside the country. Don't think you're good to go check now or risk being turned away at the checkpoint. Seventh, a damaged passport. Damaged passport. Your passport is more than a travel paper. It's your official identity in other countries. But here's what most people don't know. Even small physical damage can make your passport not work in the eyes of airline workers or border guards. We're not just talking about a completely torn-up document. A single tear on a page, water stains, loose binding, faded ink, or even a tiny hole punch left over from an old visa can cause problems. Why? Because immigration officers and airline workers are trained to spot changed or fake documents, and a damaged passport could be mistaken for tampering if they can't clearly read your details or the computer chip inside is broken. You might be told no for boarding. Right there, there's also the problem of computer chip damage in high-tech passports. If the chip doesn't scan right, especially in countries that use automatic gates or computer immigration systems, you may be flagged for hand-checking or entry denial a few weeks before any trip to other countries. Give your passport a full look, flip through every page. Look for water damage, fading tears, or anything weird. If it's even a little questionable, it's worth getting a new one. Many embassies offer fast service. If you're running out of time, 8. The gate closed before you arrived. The gate closed before you got there. A common wrong idea is that getting to the airport before the flight time means you're safe, but flight time is not boarding time. Most airlines now close the boarding gate 15 minutes before takeoff. Some, especially in busy airports or with completely full flights, are closing it even earlier. It doesn't matter if you're 5 feet from the gate when the door closes. You're not getting on. Airlines won't reopen a closed door, not for anyone. Not even if you ran through the airport like a movie hero while your name was called over the speakers. Your best bet: get there early and keep a close eye on boarding times. Not just the takeoff time written on your ticket. Your name didn't match your ID. 9. Your name didn't match your ID. You'd be surprised how often this one trips people up. A single letter, different between your boarding pass and your official ID, can spell disaster in the time of tight security. Airlines have to match your ticket exactly with your passport or government ID. Even making your name shorter, like using Alex instead of Alexander, can cause problems if your ID doesn't match. There was even a case where someone jokingly bought a ticket under the name Fluffy McKittens for a friend. Needless to say, the joke didn't work, and neither did the friend. Always double-check that the name on your ticket matches your ID letter for letter. If you spot a mistake, call the airline and get it fixed. Some may charge money, but that's better than being stuck. Your name isn't on the passenger list. 10. Your name isn't on the passenger list. This one feels like a computer problem, and sometimes it is. But it's surprisingly common. You've checked in. You have a boarding pass in your hand, but when you get to the gate and the worker scans your ticket, their computer says, "Sorry, you're not on the list. What's going on?" There are a few possible reasons. The booking was never finished because of a failed or late payment. A third-party website had problems during processing. Your name was entered wrong and doesn't match the computer. The airline double-booked or canceled your seat without asking, even if everything looks good on your phone or email. If your name isn't in the airline's main list, you're not flying. And here's the worst part. Airlines aren't always legally required to fix it quickly, especially if you didn't book directly with them. You could spend hours at the customer service desk trying to prove you do have a real reservation. So always check your booking directly with the airline at least 24 to 48 hours before your flight. Don't just trust a third-party confirmation email. Log into the airline website or app, and make sure your trip name and payment are all locked in. If anything looks strange, call right away. Being rude to staff. 11th. Being mean to workers. This one should be obvious, but sadly it's still one of the top reasons travelers are told no for boarding. Let's be honest, airports are stressful. Long lines, delays, security checks, baggage worries. It's easy to get frustrated. But here's the deal. Airline workers have the power to refuse boarding to anyone they believe may cause a problem, and that includes people who are simply disrespectful or argumentative. You don't need to yell or get physical to be flagged sometimes. Even sarcasm, passive-aggressive comments, eye-rolling or snapping at a gate worker is enough to trigger concern. If you're seen as a potential problem on the plane, the crew can and will say, "No thanks," and don't expect your money back or a new booking. If you're kicked out for behavior, that's on you. So if your flight is delayed or your seat got double booked, stay cool. The people behind the desk didn't create the problem, but they can help fix it. Kindness and calmness go further than you think. Sometimes the best travel trick is just being nice. Incomplete or invalid. Travel documents, 12th. Incomplete or invalid travel papers. When it comes to trips to other countries, your passport is just the beginning. Many places require additional paperwork. Things like health declarations, transit visas, digital travel permissions like the upcoming ETIAS for Europe, or even proof of vaccination. And here's the kicker. If you're missing just one of these, you might not even make it past the gate. Airlines are held responsible for making sure passengers meet the entry requirements of their destination country. If you show up with incomplete or invalid paperwork, the airline can and will deny you boarding to avoid fines and complications. This applies even during layovers where you might not leave the airport. That's why it's crucial to research every country on your trip. Not just your final stop. Use official embassy websites, not just travel blogs, to check what documents are needed, and always double-check expiration dates. Print hard copies, and keep backups digitally. You were rude to the airline staff. 13. You were mean to the airline workers. You may not realize how much power airline workers have until you're face-to-face with one, and not in a good way. Gate workers and flight crews are trained to deny boarding to anyone they suspect may cause a problem on the plane. And in today's tense travel climate, it doesn't take much to raise a red flag. Snapping at a gate worker over baggage fees, rolling your eyes when asked to switch seats, or being sarcastic during check-in could be all it takes. Airline workers don't need a long explanation. They just need a feeling, and their judgment sticks. Your best move: stay cool, calm and collected. Being polite could be your boarding pass. You were bumped from an overbooked flight. 14. You were bumped from an overbooked flight, even when you do everything right. Check in early, show up on time, smile at the gate worker. You might still get bumped. Why overbooking? Airlines regularly sell more tickets than there are seats, counting on no-shows. When everyone shows up, someone has to go. Airlines usually ask for volunteers and offer perks. But if no one takes the deal, they start selecting passengers, often based on check-in order, ticket type, or frequent flyer status, to avoid being that unlucky passenger. Check in as early as possible. Join your airline's loyalty program, even if you're a casual flyer, and avoid basic economy fares. No travel insurance. 15th. No travel insurance. Once considered a nice-to-have, travel insurance is now a legal requirement in multiple countries. Nations like Thailand, the UAE, and certain Caribbean islands demand proof of coverage, especially if your trip includes health risks, adventure sports, or extended stays. Some require minimum medical coverage amounts. Others want to see emergency evacuation. Benefits: a printed PDF from your insurance provider might be needed at check-in. No insurance. No flight, even if your destination doesn't require it. Some airlines ask for it, especially on long-distance flights. It's also incredibly smart to have it. Protects you against delays, lost baggage cancellations, and medical emergencies. Don't let your entire trip fall apart over something as simple and cheap as travel insurance. It could literally be your boarding pass. Not disclosing medical conditions. 16. Not telling about medical conditions. If you live with a serious health condition like epilepsy, a heart condition, or severe allergies, it's important to tell the airline ahead of time. Why? Because if you suddenly need help mid-flight and didn't give them a heads up, the airline may argue it wasn't ready to support you and may deny boarding on safety grounds. This is especially true if you require oxygen or mobility assistance, you're flying after a recent surgery or hospitalization. You may need medication or equipment on board. Some airlines require medical clearance forms or even a doctor's note. It's not about discrimination. It's about managing risk responsibly in a closed cabin. 35,000 feet in the air. Bottom line. If you have special medical needs, communicate early. Don't wait until you're standing at the gate to ask for help. You smelled off 17. You smelled bad. This one's awkward but real. If airline workers or fellow passengers complain about strong body odor, overwhelming perfume, or even the scent of smoke on your clothes, you could be denied boarding. This policy exists to prevent discomfort or allergic reactions during flights, and decisions are typically made on the spot. There are no universal standards for what constitutes offensive. It's subjective and often based on a single complaint before heading to the airport. Make sure your scent is neutral and fresh. Skip the heavy cologne, essential oils, and smoke breaks. You didn't have the right passport. 18. You didn't have the right passport. Not all identification is created equal. If you're traveling to other countries or even inside some countries, you'll need proper documents. In the U.S., for example, 2025 is seeing stricter enforcement of the Real ID Act. That old driver's license may no longer get you through security. Passport issues are another common problem. Some countries require 6 months of passport validity beyond your arrival date. Others require at least 2 blank visa pages. If your passport is damaged, torn, waterlogged, or heavily worn, you could be turned away. Check ID requirements well before your flight, and renew or update documents as needed. This is not something to gamble on. Involuntary rebooking confusion. 19th. Involuntary rebooking confusion. Imagine this: your flight gets canceled or severely delayed, and the airline rebooks you automatically. You assume everything is fine, but then you miss the rebooked flight because the notification never reached you. Now the gate worker tells you, sorry, you missed your connection, and you're officially a no-show. Airlines are doing this more often in 2025, especially when flights are disrupted, but automatic rebooking systems don't always notify passengers. Clearly, emails get filtered, texts come late. Some people don't even realize their original flight has changed. What's worse, some airlines consider missed rebookings as voluntary no-shows, which can make it harder to get any compensation or another flight. The fix: take control of your itinerary. Use the airline app. Turn on all notifications and check your flight status constantly. Don't assume you'll get a call or text. Treat travel like a team sport. You and your phone are in it together. Silent flight cancellations. 20 silent flight cancellations. This one stings. You've arrived early, cleared security, bought overpriced snacks, settled in at the gate only to hear that your flight was canceled hours ago, and you were never told. It's not a glitch. It's just how things are now. Airlines sometimes quietly cancel flights due to weather, staffing issues, or operational limits. And the worst part, they don't always notify every passenger, especially if you booked through a third party. The gate monitors may not update fast enough. Even the boarding pass on your phone might still say on time. To avoid this nightmare, don't just rely on airline texts. Track your flight yourself through the airline's official app. Third-party apps like Flight Aware, Flight Radar 24, or Trip Google's Flight Tracker. Know your flight number, gate, and departure time, and check often. That 5-second check could save you 5 hours of chaos. So there you have it, 20 reasons why people are being told no for boarding in 2025 more than ever before. Some of them are technical, some are personal, and some are just plain frustrating. But the common thread: most of them are 100% avoidable. Travel is meant to be exciting, but it also demands preparation. If you want your journey to start on a high note and not end at the gate, take these tips to heart. And hey, if you found this helpful, smash that Like button subscribe for more insider travel tips, and drop a comment below if you've ever faced one of these situations, or if you have a tip of your own to share safe travels. Stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.